Yum yum, fellow Gothamites. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And we're back to cover the next episode in Fox's retelling of the Dark Knight mythology, entitled Let Them Eat Pie. Oh, joy. So join us as we venture into Batman's birthplace.
And explore Gotham.
Oh, boy. So, Dragon, this episode features Michael Cerveris, who, Dragon, I just want to point out is,
Cerveris.
Cerveris, whatever. I'm sorry. It's Cerveris, whatever.
I'm just saying, you're the one who told me to call him by Cerveris. I'm just getting it right.
Well, I don't even know if I'm 100% right. So.
All right, okay. So, Paul is a really good actor in the show.
Anyways, so, Dragon, did you know that he actually played Sweeney Todd on Broadway?
I remember you reminding me of that, but I remember the other thing we know him from is The Tick.
Of course, we know him from The Tick as well, yes, and from Fun Home on my end.
Yes.
But Dragon, so him playing Sweeney Todd. In this episode, we get Michael Cerveris as basically him singing a song from Chicago to the tune of, basically with the lyrics that reflect Sweeney Todd.
I had a feeling you were going to like that.
Dragon, it was one of the most surreal moments I've ever had on this show. It was.
I remember, I don't know if it was on Gotham, but I remember you bringing up Chicago of late, so I knew you were going to get a kick out of that.
Oh, yes. So, folks, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, and then we'll just jump right into it. This is the darkest and most fucked up episode of Gotham ever.
It's up there.
I'd say, and I'm complimenting it when I say that. I'm just like, oh, geez, they really went for it this time, man. They really weren't pulling any punches. All right, Dragon, let's get into it. Let's start things off. Where do we begin?
So speaking of just kind of one of the darkest episodes, we do start with, again, honestly, Tiki, we keep doing this over and over again, and I love how we keep, it's still so true, the idea of the show representing a dark 60s Batman at times.
Yep.
Batman Returns meets 60s Batman, because this opening is pulled straight out of 60s Batman with a far darker, payoff, where we have our villain, in a ridiculous costume that we know who he is, but no one else does. But we have again, it's straight out of 60s Batman. Usually, like Cesar Romero as the Joker, or like any other. William Talkman as the Clock King, or like your King Tut as like all his various personas. You would have him just kind of going around there in ridiculous costumes, recruiting people. We have Professor Pig here disguised as a religious, basically a religious caricature. A charitable religious figure of some kind, basically
and
offering
this is technically
pie.
a Thanksgiving episode, Dragon.
Yeah, because he's offering pumpkin pie.
Dragon, I love the Thanksgiving of it all, because it's like there's so few Thanksgiving specials. So I'll take what I could get, darn it. This might be a dark and twisted Thanksgiving episode, but damn it, there is a Thanksgiving feast involved.
First Dexter, now Gotham.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. The dark Thanksgiving special. And of course, Peanuts is the dark racial undertone.
Oh, would you stop with that? I've already refuted that. Let's not. Anyway, I told you it's chair inconsistency. Anyway.
All right.
The point is, a Pig incognito. He is offering pie. He's offering pie to the homeless. What nice gesture, James Franco approves.
Oh God, Dragon! Can we just like put a pause on James Franco jokes for the episode? Because I feel like if James Franco gets involved, then this episode is going to go on for like 2 hours, and there's way too many tangents we can get into.
All right, fine.
So with respect, I feel like we have to place the James Franco joke in the corner for now. I think the James Franco joke needs some corner time.
But no one
with all due respect.
No one puts Franco in the corner. Okay, but just to acknowledge it. Franco loves pie.
He does.
And Tiki, why does he love
likes meat pie?
Tiki, why does he love pie?
Because it's so good. Do you
there
think
we go.
That this pie is so good, though, Dragon?
Honestly, yes. I would imagine how great that is. Add some kind of some redness on his face after chowing down the pie. Take a still of that. Add some redness
You know
on the
what's great
face.
is that Harry Osborn, like the character Harry Osborn, would actually fit into the setting of this.
Okay.
Okay, you know what? This is exactly why I benched Harry for the Night Dragon, because this is the rabbit hole we go down. All right.
Okay. So we acknowledge it. Now we're just gonna move on, folks. We got our running Osborne gags on hold for this
All
episode.
right.
So anyway, Pig's offering pie to the homeless. He's photographing them. I love kind of like you can kind of see the scheme coming into place here. He's taking photographs of them, putting them on a board. He is. They're sat around. The way they're sat around a table, of course, mirrors where they're eventually going to be sat around a table.
Right.
We have some great, of course, classic Professor Pig stuff. We have like kind of the classical music playing as he's being quite the host. And basically, he's like,
giving the haves a taste of what it is to be a have-not.
I love that word choice by the have-nots of Gotham, and of course, the whole having something, of course, tying the Thanksgiving, like have some of this, have some of that.
Dragon, I'm sorry, I'm going to take a cheap shot here and say that this episode pulled off the whole 1% thing better than The Dark Knight Rises did.
That is a cheap shot.
In my opinion, I think it's true.
Anyway. So, and of course, we see Pig is beginning his evil plan. Again, I love it as he's like kind of toasting. All the homeless people, they've been their pies have been drugged, so they're now falling into their pies. So now falling into Pig's devious clutches, and we see this. I love how this is directed, by the way. I love how we see kind of Pig. We obscure him in shadow here because again, we play with the image. We saw him like removing pieces of makeup, which. Apparently, it gave us a good look at the actor, but we didn't know at the time because he's pulling a piece of his flesh and everything. It wasn't like you don't know exactly if that's what he looks like or not. And I love how we still in the beginning of this episode we're still building off the whole. Oh man, he's in shadow and he's kind of removing the makeup and the costume again. He's putting on the mask and then of course he's beginning to perform horrific surgery and carving. That's going to be.
Let's begin, shall we?
Oh yes, the Pig scheme is beginning, and it's going to be horrific. For anyone with weak constitutions, you do not want to continue this episode.
All right, so Dragon, we get Bullock and Gordon, and of course an awkward interaction after the fallout from last episode.
I really do like this scene, though, where I really imagine.
I have to wonder if this is where Bullock's sabbatical is going to take place.
Could be.
Because it feels like a proper way to write him out of the show for a while, and it feels like Harper's kind of like grown into her role.
I really thought Harper was going to be a goner this episode, but...
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that she's not a goner this episode kind of makes me think she's going to stick around for a few episodes.
Again, real Montoya.
Will the real Montoya please stand up? Please stand up.
And of course, Harper's going to be the number 2 out of that lineup. It's always number 2. It's always
always number 2. Yep.
Anyway, so yes, Bullock's going on leave, so he's going on a literal sabbatical, while most likely going on actual sabbatical.
Exactly.
But I really do like how Jim's trying to patch things up. He's saying, Harvey, I'm sorry things turned out the way they turned out the way that I didn't mean for it to go down like that. And I love this, and we've always been saying this, Tiki, and I like that kind of Bullock put in the dialogue in this episode. He kind of put Jim that basically he gave him the cosmic reminder that I always like to bring up about the Jim Penguin dynamic, that Bullock is putting the blame on Jim. Said that, hey, remember back in episode 1, remember back in the pilot, where
in the pilot, Jim?
I told you to walk the dock and take Cobblepot out, and basically saying everything the Penguin does is on you.
Jim, we saw you make that mistake so many times in the marketing. It was embarrassing.
But you see what I mean, though? It's basically it's that cosmic joke of everything the Penguin does.
No, it's kind of like the butterfly effect of it all.
Yeah, it's anything the Penguin does is going to be on Jim, and I love Jim had I love we didn't just say it. I love that we actually had like a little response to it. Jim says he would do the same thing every time, and again I love how we're calling back to that first episode where kind of Jim and Bullock stood in that first episode, where Bullock has a really great response where he says, "You still don't understand how Gotham works."
Mm-hmm.
Gotham doesn't need heroes. Of course, given the whole Bruce Wayne role, it's a great line. Gotham doesn't need heroes. It needs people who are willing to do what's necessary. Of course, you get definitely a pull from Batman Begins. The whole "Are you willing to do what's necessary?" kind of a bit of that runner there. But I really do like how it holds true, though. And again, I do kind of like the vague parallel you have between Jim and Bulk's kind of ethical dilemma and kind of Bruce Wayne's kind of his post-killing Ra's al Ghul arc. So I like there's a bit of a parallel there. And of course, Ra's al Ghul having initially said that line is kind of fun.
Of course.
And of course, Jim's kind of holding the side of the argument where you show the people the way. The people you show them the way. People will follow. Bulk rejects Jim's desk offer, which is nice that Jim's saying, "Hey, when you come back, it's saying that hey, we're still friends. But I have a desk right here in my office, so you can still be next to each other." And Bulk rejects that. Says, "I don't need to see you fail."
Bullock's like, "I'll be back in the second half of season 4, Jim. I'm just gonna take a few weeks off. Enjoy the hiatus, buddy."
Yeah. It's a sad scene. We have a really great kind of shot here where Jim's alone in the office, but of course with the way of that the reveal of the name was being put on the door as Jim was entering, so it now says Captain James Gordon. So he's now on the path to commissioner, but at what cost?
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. So Oswald is coming in on a Falcone fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. He's of course taking major umbrage with Captain Gordon.
Now, by the way, it's kind of, again, I like how we set this up in the previous episode that Sophia was planning a fundraiser for the orphanage, so we're paying that off.
Sure.
So Penguin's looking for Mayor Burke. Of course, Mayor Burke was in the opening of the previous episode where he promoted Jim, and now he's kind of gone missing. And basically, as we hinted at the end of the last episode, Penguin's suspecting Sophia. And of course, he has Mr. Penn, his trusty sidekick, Mr. Penn, by his side. Essentially, Sophia and Penguin are kind of playing cat and mouse with each other. They both suspect each other knows, and that's kind of where how they're playing it. Sophia plays it cool, though, and that's great about her character. She can play it cool. Penguin, I like that. I love how Robin Lord Taylor plays this. He plays that Penguin genuinely hopes that he's going to give her the benefit of the doubt in terms of like he won't do anything until he has proof, until he has evidence, because he wants her, as he points out to Mr. Penn, she is my only friend. You do realize that, right?
Yeah.
So he's holding out hope that even if she has kind of betrayed him, he can still kind of make something work. He's hoping they won't have to kill Sophia.
But then he realizes that he needs a spy, perhaps a tiny spy that will not say anything.
Yes, perhaps a tiny mute spy.
Gee Willikers, Dragon. Did we meet any characters recently that could fit that description?
Grundy. Wait, no, it's not. It can't be.
Oh, God, can you imagine?
Just imagine this, Tiki. Imagine this. Yeah. It's ridiculous, but imagine this. Walking in. Yeah, with the cut off sleeves and everything, but looking exactly like Solomon Grundy, he walks in. It's Grundy walks in, but he has like a little, just for silliness sake, he has a little propeller hat, little propeller beanie, and he's got the notepad around his neck so he can write stuff down.
Oh God!
One Grundy probably is not the best speller, the best guy. Well, he's got these huge hands. He can't really write or draw anything.
Right.
And he's just like, he'll hold things up and like, yeah, that's very good, Grundy. Yes, thank you. It's like instantly regretting this choice. I'm like, it's just Grundy, like, really thinking, it's like they had like a stand-in for the kid, but it was Solomon Grundy who walked in.
Oh dear.
Anyway,
but no, that ridiculousness does not happen.
But I do like how we're using Martine. What do you think?
Yeah, I really like Martine's role here, and there's a scene with him and Penguin in particular where Penguin uses his threats in a very, very effective way that we'll get to.
Right. So, and by the way, I like that Mr. Penn kind of gave him that spy idea. That was nice because basically pointed out to Penguin you'd be chasing a ghost. So yeah, it's kind of Mr. Penn. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, this is cool. Sophia, again, being the smart character she is, she lingers, so she overhears that entire conversation.
Yeah, smart girl, Sophia.
So immediately, once the Penguin leaves, she's calling Jim, telling her that, "Hey, Jim, Penguin's on to me." Oh, like, oh god, we got to warn the mayor. Oh, I got the mayor out of town right after he promoted you to captain. Like, oh, yeah, you really thought of everything, didn't you? Of course, Jim thanks her and says, "You never call me again." So. he's keeping his distance from her because again, she did help him out. But at the same time, it's like he's fearing that he's creating another Penguin. He's undercutting the positive end goal of what he's doing here. So he can't, again, Sophia's like too good at the manipulation. So he's smartly keeping his distance, but he's a little callous towards her. But again, she's so cunning and so smart.
Let the fox into the hen house.
Exactly. You don't want to. If you let Sophia in, she'll probably stab you in the back. But again, it'll be like the most kindly smiling kind of she'll stab you, but you'll think, oh man, I just had that nice Sophia Falcon over for lunch, and oh god, I'm bleeding out. Oh god, what happened? Oh, it all went so south. Yeah, I'm just in the whole stabbing the back thing. Anyway, so
Gordon gets a call.
Yes, from his favorite person.
Oh, God.
His old pal, Professor Pig. So,
it's time for Gotham's elite to feel the pain, and for Phase 2 to begin.
Yeah, so he's targeting Gotham.
I'm sorry. I need to point this out, all right? Isn't it ironic that one day after Mr. Robot finally did its Phase 2, we get this Phase 2?
That is funny, I guess.
And I gotta say, Mr. Robot's Phase 2 a little more epic.
Now, of course, Tiki and I, we love our Leray references that track in Gotham. And we had two in this episode. One that we've been kind of building already, but we had another one. We had both Thomas Harris books. We had Silence of the Lambs, and soon, well, there's a lot of it in the episode, honestly, but we also had Hannibal.
Oh, God. I'm not too familiar with Hannibal, Dragon.
And if you really want to split hairs, honestly,
I'm familiar enough with Hannibal to know what you're talking about, though. Okay.
And honestly, if you want to split hairs, you could make an argument for Red Dragon, which of course, we get kind of with the whole pie plan. Technically, it's kind of a scene from Red Dragon, so you can actually get all three.
It's also just a dash of A Tale of Two Cities with the whole French Revolution flair to it all.
Sure. Again, yeah, but let's just say the main Thomas Harris books.
All right.
Anyways, but my point is, I love it. It's been like a reoccurring thing with Pig, though. We kind of have like a kind of a Clarice Starling, Hannibal Lecter thing going on here, where Pig calls, and we get a good look at him this time around. Which I still wish we would have built that up to like the very end, but beggars can't be choosers. It's.
Mm-hmm.
But we do homage the end of Silence of the Lambs, where he is just walking into the crowd. It's just a creepy thing. It's always been such a memorable image from that movie, by the way. Just Hannibal Lecter walking, kind of blending into the crowd at the end there. In this case, it's just like Pig having this conversation with the horrible thing he intends to do when he's walking the crowd again. Without, I guess that's the point of showing him that he can blend into the crowd, and again, like the serial killer underneath the mask.
Oh yeah,
God, it's so horrifying. Him blending in the crowd. So Jim and Harper, they're on the scene, and they find pigs. And these things are, I don't know if you know this or not. We've probably been over this before. I've probably name dropped this, but tableaus. That's what these little murder scenes are called. They're always called tableaus.
Okay.
Yeah. And by the way, the show Hannibal, too, which I recommend to everyone. And if anyone's enjoying The Punisher, one of the showrunners from Hannibal that did The Punisher, Marvel Netflix show. So, fun fact. Yeah, so we find Pig's tableau, which essentially is an invitation and a little clue for later on. And this is he basically pulls a Hannibal where we have bodies being eaten by pigs. That's the Hannibal right there. Pigs are eating the homeless bodies, and I like how we can track the bodies. We know what's being used from the bodies, and at the same time, we see what's happening to the bodies. They're being used as bait for Jim Gordon and a calling card.
This is like, it really does serve as an appetizer for the twisted imagery to come in the episode. Pig is a man of his word in that regard.
Oh yeah, and again, Tig, it's all over the show, but as well as the books too. Just this is what Hannibal Lecter does. He will have like a little artful tableau like this. He'll have like a nice little setup, and
sure,
there'll be something kind of horrific and memorable like that. So again, they really capture a lot of that. So I like that we're blending some things.
If you like that kind of stuff, Dragon, you should really watch Seven.
Anyway, so okay, Pig. We have that great gag with the guy in the crowd who's saying, "Hey, a pig." Those pigs are eating that guy as he is eating a hot dog, and he just continues to eat that hot dog while he's witnessing it.
I didn't notice that he was eating a hot dog, Dragon. That's a good catch.
And he's continuing to eat it right after he says
that's a nice subtle humor.
Yeah.
All right. So,
All right.
Dragon, Bruce is indeed hungover, as we kind of called from last episode.
The implication is that he's been doing this for a couple, like time has passed. I don't know how much time, maybe a week or a
He's
couple
kind of going
days.
into like Jesse Pinkman season 5 mode.
Yes, I think it's very apt. Yes.
So let's see. Alfred's kind of, he's giving him the speech, like basically, let's see. Help me out here, Dragon. What's the
Oh wait,
exact
I think
wording?
you meant season 4. Uh, wait,
Oh yeah, I do mean
yeah.
season 4, Pinkman. You're right. My bad.
Let's see.
Anyways, help me out here, Dragon. What's the speech?
Well, Bruce initially he wants breakfast, another Breaking Bad call, but anyway, yes. Essentially, Bruce has been a playboy for a while now. Alfred frowns upon the friendship he is forging with Tommy Elliott, and just like all these kind of playboy antics. And Alfred recognizes that Bruce is beating himself up with his playboy antics as Alfred did. And of course, we're going to get a great story later on about that.
Of course.
Let's see. So, we have this great here. I think is what you're talking about, Tiki. So, he's confronting Bruce, and I love how stern he is. And I love how this scene plays out. I love David Mazouz in this scene where he says, "Do you know what? You've probably forgotten what day today is, haven't you?" And of course, Bruce continues asking for his coffee. He doesn't want to hear it from Alfred. And then I love how this is the great beauty of what Mazouz is doing here. Bruce is he's still fully cognitive, even like with the hangovers from the partying antics. That's classic Batman right there. Even when he's hungover, he's still gonna be. He knows what day it is. You don't mess with the days that involve Bruce's parents. He knows.
Oh yeah, of course.
Basically, it's the same. And I love that we've seen this, but we've seen this in season 1, where it's where Bruce goes to Bristol Mountain. I think it's called. Goes to Bristol Mountain. He puts the rock with BW along with TW for Thomas Wayne and Bruce Wayne. He goes to the mountain. He puts the stones like a kind of a grouping of rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Alfred kind of tells me, "Remember, you're the son of Thomas Wayne." It's about time you remember that you're the son of Thomas Wayne, not this playboy.
You should look up to Thomas Wayne, not Thomas Elliot.
You don't really care
There's
me, do
only
you?
one Thomas in your life, Bruce.
I feel kind of silly. I didn't put that together.
You're welcome.
All right, so basically says, we're going for a walk. We're doing that trip.
Dragon, I gotta say, not the funnest activity when you're hungover, and I think that's intentional on Alfred's part.
All right. So Lucius, meanwhile, basically he's expositing that the homeless victims have had their organs removed, and again with all the Hannibal stuff. Again, it makes sense that if we're pulling anything for Professor Pig, we're going to pull some Hannibal Lecter stuff. Again, giving us the context and the subject matter and what happens in those books.
Of course.
So he, so the card, take it, the Revolution card. We have the Long Live Revolution card. Basically, Lucius kind of translates. They kind of chatting it over, and he kind of translates. Oh god, that means it's French Revolution. Of course, kind of the one percenter kind of theme kind of comes into play here. He's targeting Gotham's elite. Jim figures they're going to circle back to the Narrows. Let's circle back to the Narrows where all the star might find something. And basically, just to kind of speed through a little here, basically they find Lucius calls when they're at the scene with some trace amounts of chemicals that are used commonly in a paper manufacturing plant.
To the paper factory! Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da!
Yeah, so they're at the paper plant. So Jim and Harper, they go in, they find bodies, but also they find a smoker oven.
Oh man, and here we go, Dragon. It's just like, I love how this episode slowly builds to the climax. It's like, it's kind of like one of those things where it's very Hitchcockian, you know what I mean? Because like, we can put the pieces together very early about what's going to happen, but we're just on the edge of our seats, like, for when it's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Let's see. So they find so they're on the scene. And of course, they realize, oh my god, the van's here, which means Pig's still here. Oh my god, so they're on their guard, and then Pig very creepily. And I love we capture this element again, especially from the Arkham games. I've been saying this before, but this episode is where it finally pays off. Pig loves his knives.
Oh yeah. This episode very much showcases that.
It's always a great thing. Again, I forget if the comics do this all the time, but in the Arkham games, it was always that great level where Pig has like all these knives on him at all times, and he's very dangerous with knives and cleavers and so forth. That comes to play a little more later on, but he just instantly stabs Harper, and then he has her at gunpoint. Of course, it's a standoff between him and Jim, and again, I love how impressed Pig is with Jim throughout this episode. He's impressed that Jim is, he's a step early. He's kind of, instead of being a step behind. Yeah. And this scene to me felt very much as I've been kind of speculating here. It feels very Death of the Family-esque. Where in that book, Joker's planning a dinner of horrors, kind of similar to this. Kind of similar. Again, it's not. It's a horrific dinner with other kind of human body horror type stuff, but. It's a Batman kind of beating Joker, basically coming a little early, and then Joker has to kind of acclimate to Batman coming a little early. He's got to stall him a bit here, and it's kind of a similar scene in that regard. I do love the Death of the Family pulls in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, he takes Harper hostage, and Jim can't really do anything to stop him, and of course he's hyping up the final act. For Jim and the rest of Gotham to see. Pig drives off. Bum, bum, bum. All right. So then, sorry, do you want to take us through any of this?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Take us through just a little bit more. Sorry.
Right. Okay, so we have Bruce and Alfred arrive at the woods. Basically, they're pretty sure it's Bristol Mountain. Yeah, basically, we've seen this location before. They climb, but it's the episode where Bruce, he fell down. He kind of he hurt his leg, and then Alfred met him at the top. It's a heartwarming episode. And one thing I want to point out with that is that the whole the rock thing. It's basically them not doing the alley, like leaving roses in the alley yet. That's kind of what that whole the rock thing is. For anyone who's if anyone's still scratching their head, why are they going? What's with the rock thing? Which I don't mind it, but I do. On the second time they've pulled this, it kind of is very apparent that they're not doing the alley yet. That's why they're doing the rocks.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we got you have your big scene here. We got Penguin and Martine.
Penguin Martine. Okay, let's do it. So let's see. So
Penguin's questioning.
So I love how intimidating he is, but at the same time, Dragon, like you said earlier, that's key to this scene is Penguin wants so much to be on Martine's side here. You can tell that he's so genuine about it.
He's like a principal that's trying to help the kid almost.
Oh God, that's such a good comparison. You're right. So basically, Martine, there's 2 outcomes here. I'm worried that Sophia is only pretending to be my friend, and I fear that she may be using you. And there's 2 ways this could have gone. Either she chose a specific orphan, groomed that orphan, and told him how to act, or selected a group of children knowing that one of them would gain my trust. In this one, you're innocent, Martine. This is the version I very badly want to believe. I love the conviction on Robin Lord Taylor, Dragon.
Again, Robin Lord Taylor, he's never not delivered on this show.
Of course.
It's been great.
Another day, another great Robin Lord Taylor performance at this point.
And see, that's why I keep hearing from people on the show. Everyone, they always, the first thing I hear when I bring up Gotham, the people who I know I don't personally know if they've seen the show. I'm just kind of testing the water, saying, hey, watch Gotham. The first thing they always say is, oh my God, yeah, I love the Penguin.
Yeah, of course.
So basically, Penguin needs proof. He needs proof, and he needs basically as a show of faith from Martine, but also a show of faith either or if he can trust Martine, but especially for Sophia, he needs Martine to become his spy, to spy on Sophia as a show of their friendship, essentially, a show of trust.
Mm-hmm.
They shake on it, because they're conspiracy buddies. So that's being set into motion. That'll pay off. Okay. Meanwhile, Jim swears. Swears to the GCPD. He's basically swearing to the press and GCP that Harper will not be the next victim. And I love that. And I love this press thing. Usually,
it's one of kind of like the driving themes of the season is how the press is being involved throughout the story.
It is, yeah. See, and since you bring that up, it's great that again we saw them as the Penguins' toadies, and now we're seeing them as kind of a barometer for how Gotham is being influenced. And I think that's really
Yeah,
cool.
I think that's really clever on the writer's point. I think it's a very consistent thing to track as the story goes on.
Yeah, and here too, it's like one. It's always like Gordon in the comics as commissioner. He's always has to like it's like oh god, I dread the press, that sort of thing. Every police commissioner dreads the press. Yeah, basically have him like face the scrutiny and just kind of face like all the
Uh-huh.
biting questions. I like it. We capture like the harshness of the press here too. Like they're asking very like insulting questions. And yeah, again, just
How
but
can you keep the
importantly,
city safe when you can't protect your own officers?
yeah. And again, I like that Jim's. We see Jim is definitely tailor made for being captain. Again, the guy knows what to say. He's not really fearing the press, but he's sticking to his guns. But he's not taking any crap from him either. So I like that. And of course, one of them mentions that they know that pigs. Do you care to comment on the rumor that pigs cooking his victims? And of course, that shows that and this is an actual thing that happens all the time with the police here. Of course, there are leaks. In this case, this is the killer leaking to the press so he can kind of get his message out there and kind of bait Gordon into showing up. So, um, and, one more thing, by the way, is with this, I love that with Jim promising over and over again the GCPD will stop pigs. Not only is it consistent with Gordon this whole season, Gordon basically saying, we don't need Penguin and his kind of his army of gangsters to ensure law and order in Gotham. But more importantly, and why I really like with it, kind of occurred to me here especially, Jim steadfastly promising we the GCPD will stop pig is kind of building the
Exactly.
anti-Batman mindset. This is why, like Gordon will initially, when a Batman does show on the scene, he'll be very against a Batman outside law enforcement. So I love we have like
I
a
also like it because, of course, like throughout the first, 7 or 8 episodes of this show or of the season, the GCPD's name has just been consistently dragged through the mud. So, of course, we need something to redeem that.
yeah. And again, it's kind of it's great fun. Like we provide a really good explanation. It's kind of like the Gilzine de Grundy of it all, Tiki. It's very much kind of how we know something. We know an established thing. Okay, like the year one of it all, when Gordon does initially warm up to Batman, they have to go through an adventure. But now we know what got Gordon to that place of not trusting a vigilante, of not trusting outside forces meddling within the law. So we have kind of like an additional story based on 3 seasons so far.
Uh huh.
Kind of nice. All right. So let's see. So following that, the promise. Book of victims detail leaks. Okay, Lucius. Lucius. He posits that Pig leaked the detail, and also he reminds Gordon the GCPD is on his side. Then they basically realize that oh god, they find a quote. They find a passage from a book kind of written. I would assume in
This
blood.
is really the episode just gets more and more twisted. This is a book. It's by a man named Jonathan Swift called A Modest Proposal, and it's basically about the proposing cannibalism of poor and specifically orphans.
The rich eating the poor.
Oh boy, oh boy.
And
And then of
again,
course as soon as the orphan word gets dropped into the picture, Gordon kind of knows exactly what he's doing.
And again, on a few levels here, again, I love that. Again, I love the death of the family of it all, like leaving these great kind of breadcrumbs for Jim
Yeah,
to follow and
I
again
agree. I
teasing.
like the breadcrumb element of it as well.
And again, just
Like I
teasing
said,
the
for me
heart
it
of like
reminds me of Seven.
sure. And again, mainly for me, I guess it's more death of the families. That it's
Uh-huh.
again good Snyder,
And
some
of
New
course,
York
for you,
Snyder.
you're way more on the Hannibal Lecter bandwagon than I am. Not saying I don't like the character, just saying I'm not as well versed in him as you are. So,
Yeah, sure. And again, it's kind of like a good build. Like you, the audience member, have the picture painted in your head about what's to follow before you
of
see it.
course,
So I love that
and
we.
like I said, that's kind of the Hitchcockian element in the room. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like the bomb's in the room, and you're just dreading it going off.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, so then we have so Gordon's going alone to make sure. Yeah, I like this
to
measure
the
on Gordon.
orphanage. Da 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 da.
Is but Jim's going alone so he doesn't pull a mistake like Bullock did, where he led innocent cop. Well, he basically led cops into a trap. So Gordon's going into the trap alone. So I like that we address that.
All right.
All right, yeah. So Chef Louis.
Oh dear God! Is this basically Michael Cervantes' audition for Chef Louis from the Little Mermaid show? Like, it's Michael Cervais just, like, putting together an audition reel in this episode. I think that's what's happening, Dragon. I made a small change to the menu. Something a bit more modern.
I call them Gotham meat
Oh, God. Your
pies.
guests will die for them. Dragon, it's so great. It's so silly. I love it. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
All right. All
Now
right.
we have a really great. Sean Pertwee has an excellent scene in this episode.
I would dare to say this might be his Emmy scene of the season.
And Tegan, this is the thing he teased to me at the Baltimore
Oh,
Comic.
is it? Okay. You want to set that up a little bit?
Sure. Basically, folks. I mean, I'm assuming this is what he was talking about. It's very in line with what he was talking about. Unless we have like a flashback to this moment, this is what he's talking about. Because I met Sean Pertwee, kind of guy. He was a really friendly guy, and we chatted about like the show, like things we liked about it and everything. And he kind of he's teased. He also, I believe, he teased in the panel. But he teased to me that a big thing with Alfred and Bruce this season that we've been seeing. We've been seeing the trail form on this. We've been seeing it being built up. Is that Alfred? He can relate to basically without he didn't spoil anything. He didn't spoil the whole killing Ra's al Ghul of it all. But what he teased to me was, Alfred kind of and Bruce doing the vigilantism thing might bring back Alfred's war, basically his negative war experience, and might kind of have some trepidation going into the field and stuff like that. And more accurately, basically the traumas that he suffered that we've set up even in season 1. So basically, like kind of the traumas and basically that war experience and that connection that he would have with Bruce this season, kind of getting into basically the consequence of going into the field. So I'm saying this feels like the big payoff of what he was trying to say, but without saying it.
So with that in mind, Dragon, what is the big story here? What is the payoff to that?
Really, it's a really lovely story, and this to me feels very Snyder-esque to me. Scott Snyder-esque. It's how Alfred's trying to kind of like get through Bruce's kind of the playboy hide here, where Bruce is just he's trailing off and he's in a really dark place. He's trying to kind of connect with him on this level where he's basically saying, "Hey, I've been exactly in your shoes, kid." Where Alfred is telling him how he met his father, and of course, like, you remember have I ever told you how I met your father? Yeah, you met him in London when I was doing his residency or something like that. And Alfred says, "I didn't tell you the whole story." So basically, Alfred lays out the story of basically post Alfred's military experience, he was in a really bad state, exactly like Bruce's, only worse, because he would get in the fights, he would punish himself for things he's done, like he would be in an alley. He woke up, basically the way the story goes, he woke up one night in an alley covered in blood. He turned himself into a precinct so he could go to prison again, most likely to punish himself, but if not, just because, oh man, I might have killed someone, I'm just going to turn myself in. And he's told to sit down because he's not just like booked in the system. So okay, you shut up, you sit down, and then Thomas Wayne kind of wandered by, and he got to talking with Thomas Wayne. Thomas Wayne's asking him a lot of questions, a lot of self-reflective questions Alfred had not been asking himself. The two of them struck up a friendship, and basically it builds to this wonderful moment that Sean Pertwee delivers so well. And I have to assume just how great this scene is. This is what he was really building to, and what he was kind of hyping me up for.
I would assume too, yeah.
Is that he's mentioning that Thomas Wayne said, "Oh, Mr. Pennyworth, you saved me. Basically, you saved me an alley." And I love to. I'm going to get in a middle segment. I'm going to tell you why I love this so much. But he says, "You saved me in an alley," and you saved me in an alley. I hightailed it the other way, and I basically he came there, set the record straight. And Alfred said, "No, Mr. Thomas, that's not what happened. It is now." And Tiki, I think it's such a sad and poetic meeting and formation of their friendship, because of course Thomas Wayne's life ends in an alleyway, but that's where
Of course, yeah.
That's where Alfred and Thomas's friendship began, and the fact that when Thomas dies, it's where he and Bruce kind of basically he gets to kind of bring about Bruce's new life in that alley where the old life ended. I mean, I think it's poetic and beautiful.
No, Dragon, I couldn't agree with you more. Really, I really think this is a perfect example of Gotham doing something with like the backstory of characters where it's like, I truly wish it was part of like official canon. Like, this is so good, it's canon worthy.
It's really great. So So again, as he's kind of getting into the story, and I think Alfred kind of puts in words there, he understands Bruce's penance. Basically, Bruce is like doing this play, and I love that Alfred. We're not doing like the whole NT. I'm so proud of the show. We sidestepped all the Alfred doesn't approve, but Bruce is doing it anyway. I mean, we address that, but we don't linger on and do the whole like Alfred like teenagers. We're not doing any of that. We're just like Alfred's like he's saying, look, I understand exactly what you're doing. You're punishing yourself with this. Like Alfred gets it. I love that he gets it right off the bat. You're punishing yourself for racial rule. Of course, Bruce is not really in a talking. He's not really in a talking mood. And then we have the lost rock ploy, where basically Bruce says, "Oh God, the rocks are gone. That must have left him in the car. Give me your keys." Grabs the keys, and I love this. I love you can see it coming too. It's like Alfred discovers the rocks as Bruce drives off in the car, leaving poor Alfred in the woods.
Oh God.
Poor Alfred opens his heart out to the kid, and the kid just leaves him.
Now that is a bratty teenager for you. Now that is teen angst. Dragon, you know what that is? You know what that is in a phrase, Dragon, in a phrase.
What is it in a phrase, Tiki?
The arrogance of you. Oh God, Dragon, I have a feeling we're gonna have a field day with that. It works so well. It fits so well for this specific circumstance. Just have Burt Wade just be like the arrogance of youth.
Oh, it's perfect. Oh God, it's great.
Anyways, okay.
All right, so seemingly Penguin and Sophia, they're making nice with each other. They're being all cordial and everything. Martine has been given his orders. Now, something to highlight. We intercut a few sequences here, just to cover it so we don't forget it. So, and this might be an important thing, especially for speculation. Sophia, Martine is like to the side, alone in a hallway, and basically Sophia comes up behind him and she chats with him for a second. We have no idea what she says to him, but to the point she chats him up for a minute there.
Right.
Something to note. Anyway, meanwhile, as that's happening, Jim is sneaking in. He's sneaking basically to warn everyone, get everyone out of there, because he knows that Pig's on the premise. Hopefully, nab Pig while he's at it. Jim sneaks in. He bumps into the waiter.
Oh God.
Waiter's playing it all scared, and of course, I love this. I love that Jim spots the gun under the kid's
jacket.
The two get into a fight. Jim seemingly is dominating, and then of course, Pig comes up from behind, knocks Jim out, hits him in the back of the head, and then we have this great line by the great Michael Cerveris. And again, it's a great line. It's consistent with this characterization of Pig respecting Jim Gordon. He says, "Jim Gordon is really an impressive policeman." I think I'm speaking for the 1%, but I really love that line.
He was like a better version of Bane's. What a lovely, lovely voice.
I really like
just a super villain giving a compliment that's just 100% accurate in the moment.
Exactly. That's
what a lovely, lovely voice.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And again, folks, I'm just going to put this out here so we don't get it lost, because as the sequence is about to unfold, it's going to be great. We're going to have so many nice things to say, but I want to make sure I get this in here. So again, for the naysayers with the Gotham take on Pig, is that, again, it's not 100% from the comics, but you got to remember...
I really think this is about as twisted and dark with the cannibalism and everything Dragon as network TV could possibly get. Like, they are pushing the MA rating with this stuff, honestly.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is, it's, again, the twisted thing is that we get away with it with TV-14.
Oh God, I keep forgetting this show's TV-14.
Yeah, it's not MA, not MA.
That's crazy to think that this. Just wrap your head around that, folks. 14-year-olds are suggested to be able to watch this show.
It's kind of darkly funny when you think about that. If you have to be the age of Bruce Wayne when he lost his parents in this show to watch this show. in this take, it was 14. Anyway, what I'm getting is, again, we do go. I think we strike a perfect balance with Pig in Gotham here, where again we're doing dark stuff, which could equate to the stuff he does in the comics. The only difference is in the comics, it's a little bit more involved. And it's like the Grant Morrison get away with anything, any like 50 sci-fi concept, but then turn it dark by acknowledging how horrific it really is. Where you turn people into Dolatrons. It's kind of a hard thing to do, but we still capture all the surgical terror in which he would do these things. He has like a big payoff. He's like all about transformation. He's about showing people, he's about demonstrating a point through his crime. So I think they covered Pig, and of course they changed the motivation, which we still haven't gotten, but I still think we're going to get at some point. I think we're still going to get under. I think we're going to understand like why he's targeting the elite, why he's targeting the corrupt. So yeah, I just want to put that out there. I think that I still think we're doing we did an excellent job of Pig, and I think he looks so great when he's like wearing the chef's.
I mean, I think the acting alone, I think they really did choose the perfect actor for him. I really do. I think Cervantes is just like so on point. Just the theatricality of him, and I don't know, Dragon. Like I agree with you that it might not be 100% on point with what the comics is, but for me, I very much enjoyed it. Honestly, it might be my second favorite villain arc outside of Jerome, if I'm being honest.
It is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Getting back to the plot of him. So again, Jim's been knocked out.
I mean, maybe outside of Jerome, and then season 1, Penguin's umbrella.
No, sure. I'm saying Penguin he's a main character. So it's kind of hard to.
Of course, I'm just saying Penguin's umbrella is kind of like its own thing.
Sure. So Jim awakens. He finds Harper. Meanwhile, Sophia and Penguin they kind of take the direct approach with each other. Scene's really heating up. Where Sophia's basically she's kind of spinning things. That's a great thing with Sophia is that you again, she's so good. She has all her bases covered here that she can manipulate and kind of get even if she fails, she can turn into a victory here. Where basically Sophia comes out and says, again, she knows she's cornered. She's acknowledging that in the scene where she's saying, essentially she's saying, Oswald, you should look at this at Jim becoming captain as a way of just kind of getting rid of the licenses entirely. Getting rid of the licenses would benefit you in the long run. So she's trying to turn her betrayal into like, hey, I was helping you. But without being all grovelly and being all improvisational about it. She's being very natural, being very collective about it. So Penguin saying, "Oh, come on, Sophia, if you're going to confess, face the consequences."
God.
Then again, before we continue that scene,
I love how these two they still want to be friends with each other, but they both just actively don't trust each other openly.
And again, while Sophia was manipulating the Penguin, there was a lot of truth. She didn't really lie to him at all.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a great dynamic.
That's the scary thing about Sophia. Again, she's not lying. She hasn't really lied, but she's just been manipulating the truth, and without a lie, it's impressive. So then, of course, before the scene really kicks off between those two, they are interrupted by Chef Pig.
Oh, God.
I gotta tell you though, again, this is the image I saw. One of the images we were sifting through earlier, Tiki. The second one we were kind of contemplating. Basically, Pig with the chef outfit and the mask on. That was the image I kind of saw going into this episode. And again, he looks great. And of course, when he's just doing his surgery with the gloves and everything, I think he looks straight off the page. It's so fun and so kind of scarily campy when we have him as chef.
You don't want the food to get cold. Shall we go in for dinner? Chop chop.
There we go. We're getting to the big climax. So meanwhile, Jim is tending to Harper's wounds. He uses Harper's knife to escape, and of course, he's got to use a knife to kind of.
I like how Harper points out that they're idiots for not searching her.
Yes. Okay, Tiki, we got the big scene. We got the big payoff. So Pig is enacting his big death of the family style, dinner.
Oh God, you're right. It is very death of the family, isn't it?
Yes. Now, Tiki, how does this dinner of horrors kick off?
Okay, so basically, let's see. Tonight we are proud to present the 6 merry Gothamites of Falcone I'm sorry, is it Falcone?
Well, but I'm pretty sure he, if I'm right, I want to say he kind of shouts out the names of the pies, the names of the people who.
Right, to the tune of Cell Block Tango.
Yes, the meat pie, but I don't know if I think he calls it this in the episode, but I looked it up on a Tune Find
I'm pretty sure it's the meat blocked tango.
No, they call it the meat pie tango.
Oh, the meat pie tango. Okay. And Dragon, honestly, when I saw this episode, I thought I was tripping on LSD, man. I was just
so you kind of had the fish mooney I bet I had.
Maybe just a little bit. I was like, what the? Honestly, Dragon, I thought, wait a second. Did my copy of Gotham switch to a copy of Moulin Rouge? God. Oh, it was so weird, Dragon. Such a surreal moment in this show.
Right. So yeah, we have the meat pie tang, and I tell you, T, what delights me so much. Don't know, I love the music choice, but you know what delights me most in this scene? It's so
What?
funny. The image of course, Martine on triangle is just great because you know the mute kid will like the very sparing triangle. That's his performance.
Right, right, right.
I
Yeah.
like to think. I really think that was what his contribution was going to be anyway. That's why he had the
It's
triangle.
like Todd in season 4, episode 2 of BoJack Horseman.
Man, I love that episode. I love Todd Phillips. Anyway,
Good for him.
that Todd Chavez, you know. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. My point is the triangle thing in itself is funny. My favorite thing though is love the Michael Cerveris, the way he dances as Pig. You know,
It's priceless. It's
holding
just, and
both
of course, like I said, this is literally the perfect actor for this role because this is Sweeney Todd himself we're talking about.
just Cerveris, he's holding like both meat cleavers. Which, again, Pig with his knife weaponry, and of course, kind of being the butcher, and of course the pig imagery and everything. Meat cleavers of all things from the whole day. His love, he always has that constant prop of these knives on him at all times. It's like this is the way he kind of shimmies down. It's almost like a '60s, almost like a Bat 2C, but for Professor Pig. You know, it's delightful. It really is. It's God, it's great. And of course, I love that while we're doing that again, it's like and again, it's like from Death of the Family where Joker's like all loving and he's playing host, he's enjoying himself, but of course, you screw with his evening as Sophia tries to do. She tries like saying, "Hey, what have you done to the staff and the children?" And she interrupts him. And you don't want to interrupt Pig while he's getting his groove on. You don't want to throw off his groove, man.
You don't want to throw off the pig's groove. Groove.
What happens? What happens when you throw off his groove, Tiki?
He turns you into a meat pie.
I was thinking more like he stabs you in the hand.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you're right about the other part, but I'm just saying that's kind of what you have to.
I'm saying that's like the long-term
yeah.
goal of it all. Anyways,
I really think it was a mistake for them to put this in the promo, but it was a great kind of startling moment, you know, where Sophia just gets stabbed right in the hand. Again, I love that as cunning and as great character Sophia is. I mean, she gets stabbed in the hand, and she is pretty helpless in the scene.
well, Monkey was actually watching this episode for the surveillance of it all, and he was messaging me saying, how exactly does Sophia walk away with that hand just completely just unscathed?
Well, again, she's been bleeding from it. She's definitely in a lot of pain, and she is covering it up. So I don't know. It's not.
Who knows? Anyways.
Anyway. So yeah, you just get stabbed right in the hand and kind of pinned down. Of course, I love this. That again, Penguin, while he's still on the outs with Sophia, he's still kind of friendly with her. So he's still like kind of leaping to her defense now and again. He's like, you know, he's about to. I love this team. One of my favorite things about Robin Lord Taylor is the Penguin this episode. One of my favorite things. I love that at this point in Gotham, it's like a reflex action that he was about to. It's such a cool moment with the Penguin. He goes for the knife to stab Pig with the same knife that is in her hand. Like he's instantly wrap his fingers around the knife that's in her hand to stab Pig. I love that that's his instinct, and of course, you know, basically Pig has to stop and say, the next one goes in her eye.
Oh God.
It's just, you know, it's great. It's just it's great. It's a tense thing, and again, like Penguin and Sophia are both helpless in this scene. Again, I love that we kind of take these powerful characters and they're all Pig's mercy.
Then let's see. I have some of the dialogue of Pig here, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Despite appearances, I'm not an animal. After years of feeding on the poor of Gotham, you're going to know exactly what they taste like. And I thought you should see exactly who you're eating. And then I just, God, Dragon, just the delivery here. Pig is just so delighted. He's just like, people, yep, they're people pies.
I love that Penguin's like points out, so you're saying they're people. Yes, the people pies. So let's
again, like I said, I can't get over the meta-ness of this guy with Sweeney Todd, and it fits so well.
Well, here's the thing for a moment here. Let's unpack the surreal creepiness of it all here. It's like the horrificness of what Pig's doing here. That not only, again, the pies, which we know there are people in those pies.
Yes.
Not only are there people in those pies, we have envelopes with the pictures and the names of those people. And not only that, but Pig again, because he's memorized, he's prepared for this. He knows based on the placement who each of those pies
Uh-huh.
are by name, and he knows their hobbies and everything about them.
Oh
Because
God.
he put together all that little. I love the time and effort that he put into this plan, Tiki. I really do. And this, honestly, again, Tiki, it's a blend of two things. Because I keep mentioning on a record almost, but again, Death of the Family definitely. But at the same time, to kind of match the year one, the Long Halloween of it all here. I love that it feels very much inspired by the famous year one scene, quite literally in the dialogue, where you feasted on Gotham's wealth, on its soul. Again, that Batman crashing the party in Batman Year One, where you have it's almost like you took that idea, but then you kind of play with like the stuff we got in years later with Batman, with Death of the Family, like kind of how horrific could we make that scene?
Right.
So again, I like that we're pulling from a few Batman
Yeah, I mean,
sources
Dragon,
on
I
that.
thought this was pushing a TVMA, but shit, this is definitely pushing a TV-14. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, that's again, it's really really cool and really creepy. And again, I love the thematic ties. So again, these are the guys who have kind of they've been victimizing Gotham. And again,
Yeah, I
Pig
do.
is some,
I love that idea. It's like, all right, it's time to literally taste the people that you've been eating alive.
yeah, it's basically saying literally put your money where put your mouth where your money is. Almost,
Exactly.
it's like hey, you guys you've been eating this city alive, figuratively. Now you're going to do it literally.
Oh man.
It's
So
it is the ultimate revenge, and it is a great way of like kind of Pig getting his revenge for what he's been trying to.
uh-huh.
And do here. Okay, so of course, after the people pies have been established, Penguin refuses to eat people pies until.
Dragon, I'm trying to work in a soylent green as people joke, but I'm not
Oh,
feeling
Tiki,
it.
something just occurred to me.
What?
I feel so stupid for not realizing this.
Okay.
Penguin. Penguin. Sorry. Penguin pulled the. Penguin turned people into food before.
Oh God.
Remember with Grace Van Daal's children with
Yes,
Sasha and
yes. Oh
he's pulled this before. Oh my God, he served up people
God.
before.
Oh Christ.
Hilarious. Just occurred to me. Oh my God.
All right. Anyways, yeah, you're
Anyway,
right. You're right.
so again, he refuses to eat until Martine is then threatened. Yeah, I love the intensity of the scene. By the way, I love it. Again, that's where Pan draws the line.
Yeah, and I do like how it seems like it really does feel, you feel the stakes of this. You feel like eating a person is something that you're not going to come back from mentally. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and of course we have a great bit here. And again, I love that. Again, we have like there's moments where you somewhat root for the Penguin, but you're really horrified for just contemplating that. Where he
Aw.
just there's this bit here where there's like an elitist guy questioning, like, so what? The kid's like a little urchin. We're not going to eat people or over
And
like an
I
orphan.
love how the Penguin, he just takes the knife and just stabs it right through the guy's head, like right through the center of his head.
And Tiki, of course, my favorite part of this is love that he got to do that move finally. He got to pull the same knife that's in Sophia's hand,
Of
do it
course.
all in one motion. I love that. That's great. And Tiki, tell me this didn't occur to you at all. Tell me you didn't think Big Bob during the scene.
A little bit. A little bit.
It's a little orphan boy.
Oh God. Oh, man. Now imagine if Arnold was in the place of Martine during this scene. Oh
Oh God.
God.
Does that make Helga the Penguin?
Sure, why not?
Anyway. So, okay, so after that, now again, the Pig then follows that up and says, "Oh, well, there's a waste of a perfectly good meat pie." And and I love that he's pointing out that this is all your fault, Penguin. It's surprising you take that stance because you're Pax Penguina. You're kind of the pinnacle of corruption in Gotham right now. And of course, Steve, the reason he's highlighting the Pax Penguina, aside from the fact that, of course, we've been building the Pax Penguina, but the other thing is that this him mentioning the Pax Penguin while Martini is being held hostage here is going to be what kind of evolves Penguin's arc of why he's going to be eradicating the Pax Penguin because of this evening, because it's put too much of a target on his back.
Right.
I like that level of it. So then, of course, Martine being threatened, Penguin has no choice, no other recourse but to chow down.
And Dragon, I gotta say, like, we don't see much of the actual pie eating. which I feel is probably just because of the rating, like I said.
Well, he's just putting his fist in that pie, man.
But I feel like what I really like about this is I keep using the term Hitchcock. I keep going back to Hitchcock, but it very much does feel like, like you get to use your imagination with this scene. You know what I mean? They don't spell out the gory details of it, but we know exactly what's going on. So it's really just kind of like tricking the audience into thinking about horrifying the scene is.
And of course, it's the red dragon of it all here is very much in the opening of Red Dragon. I'm pretty sure the book has this too.
I'm thinking more the brain scene from Hannibal.
Yes, there's that, but I mean, trust me, Tiki. Like in Red Dragon, like that, there's that great horrific opening. For me, I've always loved the movie of Red Dragon. Like, I'm not poo-pooing the book. The book's a good story. I'm just saying I love the movie. But we open that movie where he's having the orchestra, like the friends are like they're friends of the Baltimore Orchestra or something. They're friends of like the highfalutin crowd, kind of similar to this, honestly. They're at Hannibal's house for dinner, and Hannibal has served dinner, and the implications is we know he killed one of their members has gone missing. We know that we know that Hannibal targeted one of them, and like, oh man, it's a shame one of our guys has gone missing. And basically, they're eating dinner and says, "Oh, Hannibal, you must give us the recipe and then tell us what's in this." Like, I'm afraid if I told you that, you wouldn't want it. You wouldn't want any of it. And of course, the idea, and of course, as the opening credits go by, it like mentions in all the newspaper clippings that a cannibal Chesapeake Ripper fed people to an orchestra. A woman faints in court. It's just that great. Right, it's just that great. This is a great horrific thing right there. That to me is a little more horrifying than just eating the brains. Like, oh god, you find out. Oh my god, I just went over his house for dinner. I ate a guy. Oh god. So Jim escapes finally, and we have kind of that ticking clock of like, oh god, we got there before these people eat all that pie. Penguin has to help Sophia eat her pie. Now again, I gotta wonder.
Dragon, this was like the most fucked up scene of the whole episode for me. Just how sad and like, oh god, it's gotten to the point with these people. Like, oh god, this is awful.
And again, of course, she can't eat the pie because she can't do it on her own because she has been stabbed through her right hand.
Right.
But Tiki, I gotta wonder, because you imagine why not just use the other hand? But honestly, I think this was a manipulation on Sophia's part in the moment. So I mean, again, she can't fight her way out of this, but I love that she's still. I think she's playing the angles here. I think she asked Penguin for help, and I want to say that's her cementing her friendship and her bond with Penguin. Because again, as we see in the later scene, she asked for Martine to be freed before she ate anything, and then she was doing this to save Martine.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that earned a lot of respect with the Penguins. So I don't know. I like to think that she was kind of playing the angles in this scene, even though she was.
We can't forget Pig just going on about. As mother used to say, nobody leaves until the plate is clean.
And of course, we have somewhat of a horror movie, kind of like a horror movie, kind of classic damsel in distress thing going on here, where we can't have the pretty girl eat people, so we're gonna have our hero jump in right about now.
God.
I mean, that's the way it's been framed. The way it seems
you're
like
right. I can kind of see that.
It's like, oh god, the fork's getting closer and closer. We can see the penguin because the penguin's a nasty guy. Kill a man for a sandwich. We can see him eat people pie. We can't see the pretty girl eat people pie. Oh no. So then Jim has a cool entrance here where he takes a gun from one of the guys and he shoots all of Pig's henchmen, and then we have the big battle here. And oh my god, we have a fantastic. I laughed really hard at this. I mean, I don't know if anyone else did. I really enjoyed this part. Gordon's about to take aim at Pig, and then of course Penguin just like runs up to him and he just bumps into him. Like they're old. As the fact of the matter is, they are old friends, whether they like to admit or not. He just bumps into him and says, "No, kill the kid." Ben McKenzie's so ticked off. Like, it's like it's his little brother getting in the way. That's the way they play this. It's like, I'm in the middle of something. It's like, get off of me. It's almost like it's like a Martin and Lewis thing. Like, hey, no one does that to my pal, but that's sort of like, hey, get off of me, you.
Yeah.
I really liked it. Then we have the big action scene. And Tiki, this is such a great fight. Oh my god, I love this fight. And it feels just like the Arkham Knight, Professor Pig, where he's throwing, like, basically he removes his coat. And underneath, you have this basically strapped to him like this really nice vest is strapped. All sorts of variety of knife, and that's exactly what he has in that game where he's throwing knives based from that vest. He's like toss him, and like Gordon, like he dodges like a meat cleaver being thrown clear across the across the table, and Jim's
I love the knife throwing in
running.
the
It's such a great action scene. I mean, again, because Pig's a he's a heavy guy. I mean, he's got some weight behind him. I love the weight behind these knives being, being kind of sliced and kind of tossed around here. I mean, I love the plus when they're in his hands, almost like he has claws, almost like this demonic looking. It's such kind of like a demonic, intense action sequence almost. Because my favorite shot as it builds, because basically Jimmy he's running on the table, which in itself is cool, and like they're battling on the table. With there's a dead body in the foreground, which is going to pay off later. Where like Jim's using the cutting board to kind of deflect the knife, and of course it's still coming through. He's avoiding. We have some great slow mo shots where he's avoiding the knife like here and there, and of course like the cleaver. His eyes are getting like, oh god, this cleaver's going to slit my throat. And my favorite shot is like when Jim's kind of helpless on the table for a moment. He's like on his back, which is never a place to be during a knife fight. And Pig. And that was such a great thing we've had in the promos and everything building for Pig is that he is on the other side of the table with like cleavers in his hand, and he's like clawing his way to the table like a monster. It's like the scene. It's like Jaws with Pig almost. It's like
as the scene goes on and as the episode goes on, Pig gets more and more dehumanized.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is. He's getting more animalistic and dehumanized. Yes. And again, it's almost like the scene. It's almost like when the boat tips from Jaws and Quint's like on his way down, and like there's nothing you can do to stop it. That's kind of what it's kind of what it's like. It's like it's Jaws with a pig with knives.
With knives, darn it!
Yes. And anyway, he gets all close to the gym, and of course, on the rewatch, I caught this, and I was so kind of fascinated by it. So as he has the cleat.
I'm sorry, just quick tangent here. I could just see Pig as one of those people who sells knives on on the Home Shopping Network. Why buy one set of knives when you could buy 2 or even 3? It's an investment. Think of all the gift-giving opportunities.
Imagining Pig as a door. I'm going to take a step further. I'm picturing Pig as a door-to-door knife salesman.
That's what I'm saying.
And basically, someone's trying to close a door.
Like all his cutleries with him. It's like he's dressed very well, right? Like he's got his suit and his tie. He's buckled his shoes. He's got like nice dress pants. But of course, he's wearing the pig mask, so it's a little off-putting.
I'm saying like someone's trying to slam a door in his face. He kind of pulls a Stefano from Series of Unfortunate Events, where he just pulls a knife out and like right on the door. Like, nope, you ain't closing that door.
Oh god.
Anyway, so again, really intense scene. This is something I call in the rewatch. I thought was a really interesting line. I think kind of gives me some spec for the next episode. Where Pig says the Jim, again, he's like the cleaver's getting closer and closer to the Jim's neck. Of course, the dead body with the knife in his row is close by. He has a line that says, "Come on, Jim, don't give up. You'll ruin everything." Like he says, "Come on, Jim, don't give up. You'll ruin everything." That's at least what I heard every time I rewound it. I kept hearing.
No, I hear you.
And of course, Jim pulls the knife from the dead guy's head, and he stabs Pig in the shoulder, and then he takes him out, which in itself is cool. But it makes. Well, I'll save it for spec. But anyway, it's a cool scene. All right.
Okay, next scene then. Let's see. We have Penguin and Sophia, right?
Yes, they check in with each other.
Yes. So Sophia, she's pretty upfront. She admits that she paid off the mayor to get Gordon into his captain position.
They reach an understanding. That, Penguin accepts, okay, you did this out of friendship, And basically for the sacrifice of, like she was willing to eat meat pies for Martine. So basically it's kind of like, it's sort of like, it's sort of like kind of the whole Vulture, like, you're in my good graces, it's
people for me.
Yeah. It's
like I said, Dragon. I'm trying to work in a Soylent Green reference, but it's just not coming to me.
Well, I think the time's passed with the whole people pies thing. It's the whole like meat pie. Gotham meat pies are people. Gotham meat pies.
There we go.
People.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, he owes a debt to her for the Martine of it all. But basically, they reach an understanding where okay, no licenses. Which again, Penguin looking at his own interests, like yeah, the licenses are putting a target on his back. He's getting guys like Pig out of the woodwork. So if it gets licensing out of there, you might see some truth to that. And I would like to think at the same time, Penguin sees, you know what? If I really wanted to help or control Gotham, kind of like a Falcon, I shouldn't be obviously profiting off it. I should scale it back, be more behind the scenes with it. I think it's growth on the Penguin if he's going with that.
Sure. I mean, I definitely don't. I think there's a deeper layer to it, though. I don't think these two just trust each other 100%.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Then of course he says the kicker is okay. I'll get rid of the licenses, but Jim Gordon cannot be captain.
Which is going to be interesting to see how that plays.
Oh yeah. Okay, anyways, following that, we see a really nice moment with Jim Gordon here where he's arresting Pig. He puts him in the car. And he gets a wonderful little. That's such a rarity too. He gets a thank you from the press, and that was a really heartwarming moment. Right. The idea of this episode, Tiki, is that Jim Gordon again he goes through hard, and Tiki again. I always go for this, but it feels very much kind of the Scott Snyder Gotham here, is where it's that cell line of his version of Gotham where if you face your worst nightmares, you face the worst thing the city can throw at you, and you basically, if you can survive it, you'll be stronger for it, and basically you'll be welcomed into the city. In this case, Jim, he kept his promise. He faced some horrific stuff. Again, he almost got butchered by a pig guy, but he kept his promise. He saved Harper, and the GCPD stopped Pig, and in the end, the press, they thanked him. I thought it was such a wonderful little understated moment.
Yeah, and Dragon, just because we're about to say goodbye to Pig, presumably for the foreseeable future, just wanted to share this picture of our beloved colleague with the actor.
Huh.
So yeah, they're just proof that Monkey and Servais were in the same room together.
Yeah, that's proof.
That's when Monkey went to go see Fun Home on Broadway.
All right.
All right. Okay. Anyways, carry on, Dragon.
Let's see. So after a nice little thank you bit with Jim. Okay, we have a party at Wayne Manor. Thanks for the party at Wayne Manor.
Oh God. So yeah, this is bad, man. This is like there's like all kinds of alcohol involved, loud music, and Alfred is he's not having any of it. He's just
smashes the record
Dragon,
player.
I have in my notes, is Alfred going to have to go back to his child slapping ways?
Well, he's like 1 second away from backhanding Thomas
Tommy.
Elliot.
Yeah.
He is. I love the disdain.
He literally threatens Tommy Elliot with quote-unquote extreme danger.
I love that Alfred, he has so little, he has such little low tolerance for Tommy Elliot. I love that so much. He tells everyone to get out, and then we have the gag with Tommy Elliot. He goes, "Hey, Bruce, you got to teach your butlers some manners." Like, "Hey, Jeeves, it's like, have you been hitting the bubbly, Jeeves?"
Yeah.
So, this is really cool. So basically, after Alfred shows, okay, I'm serious here, and he wants a little sit down, Bruce. Everyone leaves. Again, Tommy Elliot trying to save some face here says, "Okay, we'll see you at the club. We're going to the club, Bruce. If you want to join us, he's trying to be a tough guy." So, Bruce in the scene, I love how he uses his his kind of his deductive skills. You're basically, I don't want. It's not purely his detective skills. He just uses kind of the skills and the intelligence that Bruce has. He kind of uses this to undercut Alfred. Like he's doing the thing he's done in the past seasons, where he points out what people are doing. He knows what Alfred was trying to do with that story earlier on, and Bruce kind of undercuts him by saying, "Look, you can't help me, Alfred." I really liked how the scene was written with Bruce here because it makes sense. It's you can't help me with this. I killed Ra's al Ghul, and I avenged my parents. And this is kind of the what if Batman accomplished this?
What I like about this is it's kind of like it's good, genuine character development from Bruce. You know what I mean? Because it's moving on from kind of like the season 1, season 2 crutch of like, all right, Bruce has a conflict. He's going to Alfred. You know what I mean? It breaks that cycle in a lot of ways. He's becoming his own character, and he's very much kind of barreling towards that year 1 status.
Sure, I do love, and this is the thing with Gotham here. We have like an interesting kind of loop thrown at us here, and I really like that we're exploring this because sometimes we've done this in the Batman comics. Usually, the way it goes, we keep it vague that Bruce either never caught Joe Chill, or we don't even know if it was Joe Chill. Basically, there was a mugger and he kind of disappeared, and it's an ongoing war on crime. What if Bruce ever stopped the actual mugger himself? In this case, we've been building up for these seasons with the whole conspiracy, who killed the Waynes, of course, leading up to Ra's al Ghul being responsible. I'm just saying technically, again, he didn't commission the murder, but I'm just saying he's dealt with all parties involved, and Ray should be the last one.
Mm-hmm.
It's I love that we're kind of flirting with the idea. What if Bruce this early on, Bruce would be at the end of his mission, and Bruce is just kind of raising the question, what did I do it for? I did, I was doing all this, to put an end to my guilt, and to avenge my parents, and I've done that. I killed Ra's. There's no danger in the future. But it's nothing has changed. I still feel that pain.
Almost kind of calls to mind the kind of the mission statement of the Punisher show in a way.
Yeah. And again, it's kind of like Batman at the end of the mission this early on, so it makes you wonder, okay, what event would kind of still put him on the Batman path? And I think that's an interesting. I think it's an interesting story to kind of get started at that point. What's going to put him back on the path? He's making some good points there. If you were this early on, you're not what's going to get Bruce involved in a war on crime if he's just kind of put an end to his personal stake in the crime? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying, of course, obviously something's going to happen in the field that's going to kind of inspire him to kind of fight crime again, but it's not that ever-present boogeyman to go chase after.
Right.
Of course, Bruce said, defending himself after saying, "I know who I am. Stop being my father, and be my butler and clean this place up."
Cutting line there. Cutting line.
It is, and it's basically kind of him rejecting Alfred as his father figure in that moment. It's sad.
Okay, so let's see. I love the way the episode ends out, Dragon. So we have Sophia with Jim. Sophia's kind of explaining Penguin's stance. He doesn't like the circumstances, but he accepts it.
I love that Jim is Jim is accepting the fact that I'm not crazy about how I got it, but you know what, I deserve this job. It's basically Jim stopped.
I like that. I like that he's self-respecting enough to be like, look, this isn't completely above board, but god damn it, I am the right person for it.
And again, T, it's kind of it kind of cuts into the whole the Gordon Batman philosophy. You know what? I know it's kind of bending the rules, but it's it's necessary to do a job. It's not technically breaking any laws, but it's a necessary evil.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, Jim realizes, again, looking at the grand picture here, is Gotham deserves law and order, therefore they deserve me. Therefore, this measure is deserved. It's a needed measure to kind of make sure Gotham gets law and order instead of corruption in place. Let's see. So again, things work out for Jim in this episode, and Sophia, and then Tiki. I'm convinced this whole scene is calculated, but we'll get there momentarily. Okay. Sophia says, "Hey, I'm not your enemy," and she kisses Jim. Jim pulls away, interestingly, but again, she kisses Jim, and then we then reveal. What's the reveal?
We reveal that Martine has been watching them the whole time.
And he informs Penguin that Sophia and Jim have kissed.
Well, specifically, Sophia and the policeman have kissed. Again, I love how we keep referring to Jim as the policeman.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I guess, and then Penguin's very, very peeved. He says, "Martine, you are a good friend, but as for Sophia, she will answer for what she's done. I swear to it."
Now, Sophia promised that Jim meant nothing to her, so that's why Penguin's really up in arms here. Yeah, she said she was willing to drop him as captain like a bad habit.
Oh man. So okay, that leads into it, Dragon. What do we have in the promo?
Okay, a lot of chaos. I'm so excited for the next episode. The promo is big. It's I'm pretty sure. I think the episode's called "Things That Go Boom."
Is it going to be like more closely in line with the actual Mr. Robot stage 2?
Honestly, you're not far off. So we have Pig. We see Pig in Arkham again, looking more like not wearing the pig mask in Arkham, so you definitely got more Cerberus outside of the mask. You got Pig in Arkham. It sounds like Pig's going to have some followers. So I'm not quite certain about that, but definitely some.
I kind of blindly assumed that we wouldn't be seeing Pig for a while.
No, we still don't know why he did this, Teague. We still got at least a big hanging plot there with Pig. Like, why? What happened? How did Gotham wrong Pig?
That's true. That's true.
So anyway, so Pig's in Arkham. Jim's visiting him in Arkham. Here's the big plot point. We're seeing war in Gotham. I'm talking not just like the war we've seen kind of flirt with, but I'm saying this is like a big war going on. It seems like at least the way they hyped it up in the promo, it's like there was a war in Gotham. It's Penguin versus Jim Gordon. That's the war that's happening in the next episode.
They've been building it up throughout the whole season, so that's
there's a lot of zazz, Teague. There's a lot of zazz.
Oh, there's a lot of zazz. I like my zazz. Okay.
A lot of zazz in the promo. It looks like Nigma's mind is going to be recalibrating because they have a bit with Nigma where it looks like it's kind of we have like all the separate. We have some stuff playing while he's making some faces to the camera. It's like it looks like he's coming. It's coming back to him. And lastly, we have Lee leading the Narrows into a frenzy.
Oh, interesting.
That's what we see.
Okay, so of course, Things That Go Boom is going to be the penultimate episode. And then the mid-season finale, I like the title of the mid-season finale. It's Queen Takes Night.
It is a good title.
So, Dragon, here's my speculation. My speculation is that episode 10 is going to be the crazy penultimate episode that sort of is all the destruction, all the chaos, as you said, the war. And simply episode 11 is going to be the fallout.
The fallout and a big reveal at the end. I would buy that, yeah.
Okay.
So let me see. So again, here, main thing I'm interested by for the next episode, I think we're gonna get is I think Sophia knew that Martine was there. I think it connects to that scene. I think
You think that Sophia and Martine are kind of in cahoots together?
That's on the rewatch. I'm convinced of that, Tiki, because I
could definitely see it.
At the very least, I'm convinced that she knew that Martine was there at the end. If she didn't have an arrangement with him,
kind of was trying to manipulate the situation in a certain direction.
Yeah, and I think what she's doing, I think we're building with Sophia is that she sparked this war intentionally. That's what I think she did with that kiss. I think she started a war between Penguin and Jim over that kiss.
Oh, I could definitely see that. Yeah.
Which is why, again, she says the scene just could have ended where Jim had his line, but then she says, "Hey, I'm not your enemy." She kisses him, and again, he doesn't return that though. But it's still the fact that she initiated that, and again, most likely knowing that she was being watched. And again, she had that conversation with Martine. She probably set the whole thing up. And basically, while Jim and Gordon, they kind of basically the two, she'll be playing both sides against each other, being on both sides. And basically, she'll reclaim Gotham in the fallout. Like, okay, as these two guys take each other out, I'll reap in the spoils. A part of me wonders. Now, again, if I had to pick between this and Sophia, I'm going to go with the Sophia more than this. But a part of me wonders if Pig a part of Pig wanted Jim to succeed for a grander plan. Because with that line he had at the very end, Jim, don't give up now. And the fact that Jim is visiting him in Arkham, I think Pig's plan of kind of showing Jim the light, transforming Jim Gordon as well as Gotham. I think transforming Jim might be telling him how Gotham hurt him in the first place. I think that's a part of the plan, like getting Jim to see his side through how Gotham wronged him in the first place.
Well, I mean, as you said, that is very much a missing piece of the puzzle. So yeah.
Let's see. I think Lee is going to be leading the Narrows in the midst of this war. Like, you basically, all this chaos is going to be raining down.
Taking charge of everyone, kind of being put into a leadership position.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I really like kind of this Gotham at war idea because it feels very No Man's Land-esque. I'm down for it if they can pull it off. I really am. We have Barbara. Barbara's definitely. We had an image of Barbara where looks like she's been put through the ringer. It was like a really quick shot. Now, my main call with episode 11 with Barbara is that I think episode 10 she's going to go through the ringer, and then episode 11, like one of our big reveal towards the end of episode 11, hence the Queen. The Queen Takes Night. Barbara Queen. I think. At the end of the season, like our big kind of oh boy, folks, after the winter break, you better come out and watch Gotham when it comes back. Is she's going to discover what that gift Raish left for her was? Because remember that little glowing hand thing. I think that's that's going to make her queen somehow. Basically, it's going to be she's going to reveal what the heck that was, what Raish al Ghul's kind of final gift to her was.
Or do
I
you
think
think it's possible we could get a confirmation that she was revived via the Lazarus pit?
well, we already had that. Tiki. He said he bathed her in the Lazarus pit.
Oh, okay. My bad. My bad.
Anyway, um, here's a long shot. I mean, I'm just saying with the title itself, it made me think this was just like it's a long shot. Episode 11, could introduce Talia as the big kind of reveal at the midpoint.
That makes sense because, of course, this season is kind of structured around Ra's al Ghul, so having Talia in the mix would be a good way to keep that storyline going without bringing Rage back immediately.
Yeah. And again, it would be a good build. And again, for those in the audience who know like who Talia is, like that we know that, oh, yeah, we know Raish is going to be back somehow. But in the meantime, we have Talia. Right. And we know, like, yeah, basically, we'd have like another Sophia Falcone, quite possibly, with the Bruce story. And Tika, I love Talia al Ghul so much. And again, she's always been, if I could ever pick one character to be a Batman, I would always pick Talia al Ghul. So, I mean, I would be very excited if we can do her right. If we could do Talia right, it'd be great. And of course, I think we're still building the Tommy Elliott thing. Like at some point, I like that we've kept Tommy Elliott in the frame. Like been mentioning him, and he's been a bad influence. And I think we're still going to do that.
I'm interested to see where they're building with that because, as you said, Dragon, I like how we're taking our time with it because I assumed it'd just be like a one episode thing, like, oh, he's still a jerk, shocker, shocker. But it's much more nuanced.
I have one last call for the very end of the season.
Go for it.
It just kind of occurred to me in this episode, kind of talking about the roses and stuff. But again, the thing I've been kind of positing is my big kind of theory for this season, where we're going to end with Bruce, is I think Bruce is going to have a run-in with the Scarecrow, which will, he'll be gassed by the Scarecrow, and we will get the, he'll have the image of the bat at the very end. But I think he'll see the bat. Like he won't exactly put the ears on the costume, but he'll see the bat, and we'll infer where it's
the big iconography that's missing from the show.
Yeah. And I think honestly what we do, and I think it can make for a good ending, is okay, he sees the bat, and we don't see him like put the ears on the costume, but he confronts another fear, which would be, well, I'm just saying he kind of visually conquering a fear, and that at the end of the season he would leave the roses in the alleyway. At the very least, I want him in the alley at the end of the season again. I think that'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So final thoughts on my end really quick, Dragon. I enjoyed the episode quite a bit. I thought it was a fitting end to the Pig arc. I'm curious to see where Pig goes from here now that he's in custody. I'm happy to know that he's not just going to be written off the show entirely. I'm happy to know they're going to be doing some stuff with him. But Dragon, overall, I just thought the episode was fantastic with its Hitchcockian undertones. That's how it played up its suspense and how it played up its grotesque dark imagery, and kind of had a great kind of like dark 60s Batman flair to it. Overall, very, very good, very enjoyable.
For me, I thought the Pig story had a cool climax. I will say this to be a little critical, basically comparing it to last week's episode. I think this one, it was a little, again, it's not a bad thing. I think it was a little by the numbers in the middle. I think we say they had a good start and had a really great Act 3. Just it was a little bit like basically a little predictable in places in the middle. Man, like Lucius Fox kind of being Mr. Exposition every now and again. It's like, okay, we see where it's going. It's not a negative at all. It's just like I really loved last week's episode. I might be like alone on that. It wasn't like the most action oriented episode episode 8, I guess. But this was a solid one. It was good. Kind of we took a break from Pig last episode. In this case, Piggy came back, and he came back in a big way. It was great. I think I just loved the setup a little more than I loved the payoff. But the payoff was a lot of fun though. The payoff was a lot of fun, just maybe not as in depth as the previous one. But it was a great solid episode though.
All right, take us away, Dragon.
So remember, children, no matter how dark and scary the world might be right now, there will be light. There will be light, Jimmy.
Until next time when we go exploring Gotham yet again. Chop, chop.